I like that jet behind you. Uh-oh. People are logging in. Richard Grace is on first. Bergman Scooter, Cameron Gillis, Book Davies. Uh-oh. People are logging in.
All of Scott's groupies.
Yep.
You're the star of the show, not me, Mike. Look at that. You're up in a huge headline.
I see that.
That's right.
And when I was doing those mighty ETX star parties back in the early 2000s, there were lots of groupies that would just always show up at my star parties.
Oh, that's great. I'm sure they're still your groupies.
And there's still some groupies out there. Yeah, every once in a while up on Facebook, I'll see somebody commenting, "Are you that Mike Wiesner?"
That's right. Yes, I am.
It's always interesting to see people come up to you and start talking to you like they know you, and they do know you because they've seen you before, but you don't have any idea who they are.
Yeah.
At the shows. That's kind of interesting.
Well, a lot of the names that I will actually remember them because they were very frequent commenters on my ETX site. They submitted, articles or pictures and things like that.
Oh yeah, when they introduce themselves, you'll recognize their name.
Yep.
In the Zoom era, we get to see their faces at the same time we see their name.
Yeah, back in those early days, it was just an email address.
That's
or
right.
name. Yep. But then you'd meet them at my star parties. I'm like, oh hi,
nice to meet you. Right.
I remember the really early email when you invoked VI to get your Unix.
Oh yeah, the V editor.
And people would sign off with like incredible amounts of information about themselves, as their signature.
There's Tyler.
There is Mr. Bowman.
I didn't hear the lady say anything when the recording started.
Because you've already tuned her out.
I guess it's just a reflex action.
Mike, how the heck are you, buddy?
Hi, Guy.
How are you, sir?
Doing good here on this cloudy day out here in Arizona.
Oh, you too?
At least it's not windy, right?
It's supposed to be cloudy all the way through tomorrow night.
Oh, well, we're throughout the whole week. I blame Scott. It's his fault. It's all Scott's fault. So Mike, I'm curious, how are you able to get such great photos with a cell phone?
With the cell phone.
With the cell phone. I can't even get a half.
Disassemble mine like that guy down in South America. This is the ass.
No, that was brilliant, really.
I mean, he was doing some amazing things. I could not believe what I was seeing. Wow.
Yeah.
But that one app, Nightcap Camera, is just an incredible app for doing smartphone astrophotography on the iPhones. And yeah, I really like it.
Check this next part out.
What's the screeching?
Probably the drive system making all that racket.
That's a lot of screech.
I don't think she actually received it.
They don't really show how they're yanking that rope.
Yeah, I want to see the car yanking that rope.
Yeah. This is a Mars parachute.
It could be a rocket. It could be firing a rocket horizontally, pulling that rope. That's
I
that
suppose.
screeching. That's the screeching noise.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Scott Roberts here with the OpenGOTO community, the Explore Alliance, and Explore Scientific. And we're here today with our special guest, Mike Wiesner. Of course, Jerry Hubbell's with us, and Tyler Bowman. It is our 150th episode. Okay, so that's a big deal. And because of that, we're going to have a special giveaway on this show. Okay. So if you're watching and participating, Jerry gets to set up all the rules and be as difficult as he wants to be. Okay.
Well, it's the level of difficulty is commensurate with the prize.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Mind you, it's the 150th anniversary. But before we get into all that, let's focus on Mr. Mike Wiesner here. Mike is he's been a great friend for so many years, not only to me, but to, I'm sure, thousands of amateur astronomers out there. When I first meet up with Mike, he is very involved with Meade's ETX. I'm working at Meade Instruments at the time, and he had developed an incredible following, which still follow him to this very day, about the culture of ETX and how to use the ETX. He wrote the best book there was on how to use that little telescope, and using the Meade ETX. That's right, and it became, I think, a runaway bestseller in the astronomy circles. And
You still get royalties.
And he still gets royalties. That's right, and you still have your website, right? The Mighty ETX website. That's right. And so Mike's been featured as special lecturer at astronomy clubs. He's done lots of online activity, not only in the forums and his own forum, but he has participated greatly in almost every way you can imagine with our amateur astronomy community. Mike has a fascinating life, and his new book, Finding My Way to the Stars, is his autobiography, and it covers his whole life. And so, Mike, what drove you to write your book?
Well, as you mentioned, I wrote this book. Came out in 2002. That was actually my last and what I expected to be my last foray into publishing. Before that book came out, I was actually featured, wrote a chapter for this book, and both of the small book by Stephen Tonkin. And both of these books, kind of hard to see here, were in the Springer Practical Astronomy series, Patrick Moore series. So it was quite a bit of an honor to get published in those, and really did appreciate that effort.
Yeah.
By that company. Jerry is now the editor for that series. Took over from John Wansett, I guess.
Yep, John Watson, and before him, Patrick Moore was the actual. I never got to meet Patrick Moore, talk to him virtually, So I was right when my first book came out is when Patrick Moore passed away.
Oh wow! Yeah, when I submitted the draft chapter and an outline for my ETX book. A couple of weeks later, I get an email back from John, and he says, Patrick Moore has reviewed your book and approved it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
So what, Scott, you asked about the impetus for me writing an autobiography. Well, many of you are probably familiar with this book.
Yes. Right.
which is David
David
Levy's
Levy's.
autobiography.
Yes.
I got this at the first annual, what was supposed to be annual, Arizona, David H. Levy, Arizona Dark Sky.
It's either going to be now biannual or triannual. I'm not sure of it. Yeah,
Whatever the pandemic allows. Yes.
that's right.
So I read this book and I was just really enthralled by what he had to say.
Yeah.
And the messages that he put out there, his background, his experiences. And so then I started thinking early last year or a year ago,
Mhm.
people are always asking me, what are all these neat things you've done, in your life? Up on my websites, I have little tidbits about what I've done, a sentence here, a sentence there, and kind of a biography page, but not a lot of details. So I decided, well, maybe people would really like to see what I've done.
Mhm.
And could I write an autobiography that might have some meaning to people, not just to see what I've done, but to sort of justify kind of the experiences that they've had.
Right. No, I mean, you wrote about some painful experiences too, like your parents, for instance, getting divorced,
Yes,
which
yes.
I went through that as a kid too. It is something that is I think tough on everyone, including the kids. And uh, do you think that having kind of gone through that situation yourself helped define what you would do in life?
It certainly influenced a lot of things that I did later on because I lived with my mother.
Okay.
My mother always wanted to be a teacher, but never did because she couldn't go to college and things like that back in the early 1900s. But she always kept talking to me about being a teacher. And so that was always, in my home life that education was very important.
Sure.
My dad, not so much so, because he was a factory foreman, a hunter, fisherman, that kind of a lifestyle. Not really into the science. My mother was very big in encouraging me in my science endeavors with astronomy,
Yeah.
getting me my first telescope, an Evans Scientific 3-inch Newtonian telescope. So she encouraged me in all of this stuff. She encouraged my music aspirations.
Hmm.
So, all of those things are still with me today.
Yeah. Right.
And throughout my autobiography, I keep having all these little circles that keep popping up: the music, the teaching, the educational aspects. They keep popping back up, and of course, the science and astronomy and things like that. There's all these little twists and turns that my life made as you
Yeah.
read through all the chapters. I'm off in this direction, then I'm off in that direction. Well, all of these things are ultimately all tied together, coming out the end.
Right. That's very true. That's very true. And I guess there's a chapter on you choosing, if you were going to go really deep into, music or into science or astronomy. What was what was that whole deal like for you? I mean,
It was really a kind of fascinating to me, and I hope to the readers. My band director and I became very close in high
Okay.
school. And that stemmed out of a health incident that I had with him, not with him, but that he reacted to.
Yeah.
And he saw certain talents in me that I really didn't see back as a high school student. And he really wanted me to go into education, become a music teacher, become a band director. And he spent my senior year a lot of time counseling me about
Oh,
what
wow.
I could do with my life.
Yeah.
And none of my other teachers did that. The science teachers didn't, the math teachers didn't. And yet I was very big in science and math, but they didn't do that. He did, because he really wanted me to get into education and get into music. And it was a tough decision. The second half of my senior year, what am I really going to do? I've got this tremendous love of astronomy that started when I was 6 years old, very much encouraged by my mother and one of my brothers. And then there's this music thing. I love music. I love playing the trumpet. I love being in band, the concert band, the marching band.
Mhm.
It was just such an experience doing that. Which way do I go? Which path do I follow for my future? You know, what
Sure.
would I do? And as it turned out, you know, he was pretty right, because I have taught, not as a professional teacher, but as volunteer education kinds of activities. Certainly what I've done with public outreach in astronomy, that's a teaching aspect to that.
Mhm.
What I did, my last job in the aerospace company, I was the deputy director of training for 20,000 employees.
Right.
Education.
So you became an educator, right?
I became an
Do you think
educator.
that your music ability is something also that you know, added to other things that you did? I mean, I mean, do you still now play music?
I still have my trumpet. It's right
Okay,
over there.
right, right next to the jet behind you.
No,
Yeah.
no lip.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But yeah, occasionally I'll pick it up and tune a few notes. But certainly, you know, music was always very important to me, and I
Sure.
always enjoyed listening to music, and certainly enjoyed playing it when I was very active playing it.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, you see this jet here behind me, and let me get out
Yeah.
of the way a little bit.
Right.
Uh, so yeah, that's, you know, one of the jets that I flew,
Oh,
the
wow.
A-7 in the Air Force.
Right.
And that's another one of those twists that I never expected to take.
Yeah.
In
I
following
remember
my
being
path.
very surprised seeing this photograph of you, you know, with your, you know, flight helmet on and all the rest of it. I was going, wow, that was Mike, you know? So that's, you know, you have done amazing things, you know, in that regard. So,
You know,
um,
working on the space shuttle program for the Air Force, you know, I had
yeah.
really lots of great experiences with that. In the book, I detail my foray into trying to become an astronaut for NASA, which obviously didn't work out, but uh, I was in potentially the right place at the right time to apply, and with the background that I had with the astrophysics
Sure.
degree, with the flying experience, I figured I had a lot of and working on the space shuttle program, I figured I had a lot of good background that NASA might say, hey, he might be kind of cool as an astronaut, but didn't work out.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
So there's all these little twists and turns in the book, and one of the main messages that I want people to get out of my book is, you know, your life's going to change. You know, you're going to follow different paths. More than likely, can still be a pretty awesome experience, and you can still be a pretty cool guy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think you'll find what I found. I've got some things, aspects of my life, my career are similar to yours, Mike. But in terms of, you always find a way to work the things that you're really interested in, love, into your life, regardless of the opportunities that come along. You'll have good opportunities and maybe not, and then maybe not many opportunities, but you'll still pursue a way to do it. Is what I've
Yeah.
found.
Right.
Absolutely. And you know, as Scott pointed out earlier, you know, I talk about successes in my life. I talk about the failures in my life,
Right.
the things that didn't quite work out the way that I had hoped, or, you know, the universe threw me a curveball and did something to me that, you know, I wasn't real pleased with. So there's all those ups and downs. There's all those deviations from a straight line path through my life. So,
Sure.
but it's been
Oh,
fun.
I would say that failure often is much more valuable than successes, you know. I mean, success is sweet and but it's kind of once you've arrived at a successful plane or whatever that you might think of, uh, you know, you're looking towards the next plateau, I think, a lot of times. And but it's the lessons of failure that really, you know, how hard it would have been, and the ability for you to rise above it, you know, and to use it, and to make it, you know, to make it really, you know, a valuable tool in your
Oh
life,
yeah.
you know. So
And you know, certainly, you know, the universe threw me some curves, but it also threw me some pretty neat experiences.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of the things that I talk about in the book just kind of dropped into my lap, out of the sky.
Right.
And I never expected that to happen. Got excited by that opportunity that was getting presented to me, and I jumped on it, which of course then changed the path that I was following. And then
Right.
sometime later, something would change or some twist would occur, and I'm back off on another path. But they were all good paths.
You definitely have to grab the opportunities as they come along. You can't let anything slip by, even if you have a think, if it's anything related to what you're trying to do and
Mhm.
whatever the broad areas of your life are, you just need to grab it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as I point out in the book, my plan, coming out of college with going into the Air Force, I was going to be a scientist in the Air Force. I was going to work on satellite missions or whatever it is I could get my fingers into. And then flying kind of dropped into my lap, and all of a sudden I became a jet fighter pilot.
Right. Right.
And I never
pretty
expected
awesome.
to not do that in the Air Force. And then the space shuttle job kind of dropped into
Yeah,
my
that is
lap.
very cool too.
Mhm.
So, and historic. One of the things also that it seems to me that no matter what path you have started on, there are people, especially young people, really worry about which way they're starting out. Whether they've gone down this path of becoming an educator, or they dropped out of school and studied calligraphy, for example, like Steve Jobs did, or there's just, I think every experience, as long as you're still kind of moving forward, and nothing gets wasted. You get to use it all, no matter wherever you arrive at, and that was something that when I was counseling my kids as they were going through university, there was a lot of self-doubt, on their part. Did I do the right thing? Did I choose the right thing? And I'd like to be able to counsel every kid and say, look, follow your passion right now, and as long as you're doing that all your life, and be willing to stand back up, if you get knocked down, you're going to, I think, feel like you've lived a worthy life. You've been contribution positive to not only your life, but to other people's lives too.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's my takeaway. So
Yeah, the second chapter in the book is, what did I want to be when I grew up? Because you're a little kid going to kindergarten, grade school. Did you want to be a fireman? Back then, did I want to be a cowboy? Did I want to be a spaceman? Did I want to be a pilot?
Right.
Because you're seeing all those things on the early 1950s TV shows, and it's kind of a tough decision, but always in the back of the mind was astronomy, the night sky.
I think that's the thing, when you're a kid and you latch on to something that really grabs you, that follows you your whole life. That did for
Yes.
me anyway. That's basically, from the early days, from when I was 6 and 8 years old, watching the Apollo program. That's just that general direction of science and technology has driven my whole career.
Well, back then, back in the 50s, we had the benefit of Watch Mr. Wizard. And I mentioned that in the book. There was a very popular science-oriented TV show. The guy's doing experiments, or he's doing talking about various aspects of different science genres, and that was one of my favorite TV shows. Other favorite TV shows was Rocky Jones Space Cadet. So.
Okay. I miss some of those TV shows, Mike. But I think all of us, especially if we were growing up in the 50s and 60s, science was at the forefront of this country at that time, and and that's what propelled us all the way through the Apollo program. I think it's more important now than ever, as we run headlong into a world of artificial intelligence and big data. So if we don't enable our kids to have the scientific literacy that they're going to need to just live an everyday life. I think that's a big a big misstep on our part. And I think that all of us that do educational outreach in astronomy, that's a great gateway into science, and it's an inspirer. Especially if someone can be inspiring while it's going on. I think that we do introduce more people to take up that, take up the challenges of learning science. It is more complicated, more complex than it ever was, but I think there's more resources available now than we ever had. And some might argue it's maybe too easy to get we could YouTube any explanation about any math equation or how to understand almost any aspect of science, we did see in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s a big decline in the interest of science in what are called Western civilized civilizations. And while we saw in Taiwan, China, India, intense interest in engineering and science, STEM learning. So, but I think we're doing a better job now. I think that I believe that
it always takes some sort of quote cataclysmic event to convince people that science is important. You look back in the 50s, Sputnik launched by the Soviet Union.
Right.
That's what kickstarted science in the Americas. But now we've kind of swung back the other way with a lot of distrust of science for various reasons. It's going to probably take some other catastrophic event, like an asteroid or something,
or a pandemic or something.
Yeah,
possibly.
so that's going to have to kickstart the trust back in science again. So
Okay. All right. Well, Mike, where can people find your book?
So the simplest way to get information about the book is just go to Wiesner.com/bio.
Yeah.
And that'll take you to a webpage on my website that's got a description of the book. And then there's a link off to the Amazon link that you can find it. It's self-published. It's published through Amazon. So there's a Kindle version and there's the paperback version that you can buy. It's not very expensive. I didn't plan on trying to make $1 gazillion in royalties. I am still waiting for the Hollywood movie mogul to contact me.
Those guys, right?
But that hasn't happened yet. It's only been out for a few days, so we'll wait on that. But if you're interested in getting the book, I hope you will enjoy it. And I think you will, and hopefully there'll be some good lessons in there for people too. So
no, I'm sure there is. So it's entitled "Finding My Way to the Stars" by Michael Wiesner. I think you'll find it to be a fascinating read. Available on Amazon. So get your copy. Heck, send it over to Mike Weasner. I'm sure he'll sign it for you. So, Mike, thanks very much for joining us on our program today. Is a perfect way to start out our 150th episode on the OpenGOTO community. And so,
thank you, Scott, for having me on this special episode. And stick around in case anybody pops in with any comments. I don't see the.
Well, there are comments, and before we segue over to Jerry, let's read some of them. Let's see. Of course, our audience has now all become friends with each other, so there is some banter back and forth, which is totally cool. Let's see. Norm Hughes says, I got to fly an F-16 once for about 20 minutes.
Oh, man.
And he said he had a 3-hour ride while stationed in Korea. Makes you envy pilots. Yes, I can imagine. Let's see. Harold Locke, okay, he says, success for me has been being able to get to pursue individual goals in any field I wanted to. Nothing earth shaking, but doing a good job and the satisfaction from that. Harold, I would say that anyone that could do that has lived a charmed life, okay? There are, all we have to do is just for even a moment, imagine people that are unfortunately living in countries or situations or war-torn areas or wherever, where doing what you just described is an impossibility, okay? So it is, I would say that we should all be grateful, for the kind of lives that we've been able to live and the successes that we've had. I understand what you're talking about, nothing earth-shaking, but it is earth-shaking, and so I'm glad you've been able to enjoy your life as much as you have. Let's see, what else? Gary Albin, he says, the best way to learn true satisfaction is to fail first, then try again just to succeed. If you always succeed without effort, life would be very unsatisfying. I would agree with that. And Book Davies was a guy on TV when I was a kid, science show. His name was Julius Sumner Miller, I think. He was awesome. There were a number of great science shows that were on earlier. And of course, who's the guy that, Bill Nye the Science Guy. I mean, that was it seems like science programs like that are never get old, and I got to see Bill Nye in front of about 3,000 kids on a live event he did one time, and they just went nuts, and that made me very happy to see that. So, Bill Nye's done an incredible job. Maybe one day we'll get lucky enough to have him on the program. We'll see. Mike, thank you very much, and we will see you later. I imagine we'll see you at least in the audience. If you feel inclined to come on to the show on the Global Star Party tonight, you are absolutely welcome. Okay. So now let's talk about the 150th anniversary or episode. It's not the anniversary, but the 150th episode of the OpenGOTO community. I'm going to switch over to Jerry. Jerry, my God, you've done 150 of these. How do you feel?
Shows.
And boy, are your arms tired, right?
That's right. Boy, it hadn't even been quite a year, I don't believe. I think it's in June when we started this, is what I'm thinking.
I think so. I think we're just coming up on a year. So,
right? Yeah, I think that's right. Because early on, we were doing this every day, and then you've added a lot of shows to the network. Basically, we have a network now, the Explorer Alliance Network.
Yeah, kind of. That's right.
Kind of cool.
Well, there was so much to talk about. I just go, well, we should talk about this and we should talk about that. In fact, I have a new show that I'm thinking of doing that focuses on weather, where we interview meteorologists and talk about educate people more about weather in general, and of course, occasionally have the extreme kind of storm chaser types on, but that's my next program I'm thinking of having.
That's good. So we've got hundreds of shows available on our YouTube channel now.
That's right. A lot of detail. I was talking. You'll be happy to hear this, Jerry. I was talking to a gentleman who was telling me about he'd gotten his observatory tent. He had done had these eyepieces. He had done that, and of course he was very complimentary towards us about our equipment. But he said even more so has been the fact that we come on live on our programs and we talk with customers and about subjects that they're interested in, plus educating them about the hobby in general. And we talked a little bit. He said you don't really try to sell us stuff much. And I said, well, that's true. I said,
Yeah,
but
that's
you
right.
know,
I'm kind of adverse to that. I'm really sensitive to that when I'm giving talks and anything. I won't say anything about Explore Scientific. I'd rather talk as an amateur astronomer and
right.
I wouldn't call myself a scientist. I know you call me a scientist, Scott, but that's kind of
Yeah,
the
well,
way
you
in as
are.
a science guy,
You're a, you're at least an amateur scientist.
Yeah, right.
At the
Citizen
very least.
scientist. That's right. So I'm a citizen scientist, and I enjoy the science side of it immensely. And but I'd rather talk about that than to try to sell you something. Although, if you're interested, I will tell you exactly what we have to offer.
Sure.
If you
Sure.
mention it.
That's true. That's true.
So,
But I was explaining to this guy that, I mean, mostly how we see ourselves is that we're kind of outfitters, and the people that are in our community, they're explorers, they're on their own personal journeys of exploration and personal discovery of things. Some of them are actual real discoverers. They've discovered things
right.
that they would be noted for or whatever. But I mean, for instance, David Levy uses some of our equipment. He has been very encouraging to us and to me personally, through my journey in being involved with this industry. But people that are seeing Saturn for the first time in their lives, or M13, or the first Edge on Galaxy, or whatever it is, that rush that you feel when you're experiencing that is very similar. Although I have nothing to my credit as far as a discovery goes, like a comet or something. But in talking to people that did it on a routine basis, they said that feeling's the same. So I would say for anyone, a good dose of medicine in your life is to keep having those personal discoveries.
Right.
You're learning more about yourself, about your life, your place in it, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, personal discovery is a big thing. I
Yeah.
think part of the hobby, and it's just doing something the first time is great, no matter what it is.
Right.
When you finally figure it out and you say, "Oh, awesome, I did this." That's getting over adversity and working through the problems and everything else.
Right. And as an outfitter, if I think of myself as an outfitter for somebody, I mean, if we're taking people camping, for example, we're going to tell them to get, maybe this type of tent, this type of backpack, these kinds of things to get started. They may not, for a beginner, these may not be the most advanced or techie pieces of equipment to start off with. But, and in fact, when we relate this back to telescopes, sometimes when we're talking to someone and trying to guide them through that process, it may be equipment that Explore Scientific just doesn't make, and based off of that, I've referred people to our competitors. I've referred them to different types of equipment. So I'm not adverse to doing that kind of thing, versus you might go talk to any other type of company. I mean, how many times did you call like a hotel or something, or a store, and say, well, do you guys have this in stock? No. Do you know anyone else that does? And I'll tell you what, they probably, if they don't know who else does, they're not doing their job. Okay.
Right.
But a lot of times they'll just say, well, no, we don't know.
Yeah, you have to be an expert in the industry. You have to be an expert in everything to be in this industry. I think you add value to that quite a bit.
Right. So I just think that, we need to get as many people going that want to go as possible. So anyhow, but
So what's the prize today? I think it's related to our episode.
So it's the 150th anniversary. So we're going to give away a $150 gift certificate. Okay.
$200.
So Tyler's going to throw another $50 of his own personal money on it. No, it's $150. We have to keep it 150, right?
That's right. That's for this show.
Bad boy
for
Tyler.
This show.
When we get to the 200th show, we'll do something that's 200. Okay. So, anyways, what is it going to be, Jerry?
So for that amount of value, the question's going to be, you'll have to do some digging to figure this out. Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
So,
Okay. Now, first off, what are the rules? Okay.
all right. So you're gonna send this. So let's see. You're gonna send the answer to Kent at explorescientific.com, right?
Okay. All right. You want to do Kent?
Yeah.
All right.
Or Tyler. Do you want to send it to Tyler?
Send it to me. Kent's got a lot on his plate right now.
All right.
Okay.
Just send it to me.
We'll do Tyler at Explore
At.
We were talking about Mars attacks earlier.
This is what we do on our shows. Talk about weird,
Makes my
crazy
head
movies.
explode. Like the Martians.
Literally, heads explode.
Yeah, right.
So send the answer to Tyler at explorescientific.com. And this question, you'll be able to find it.
But Davey says, I won enough. Y'all get some. Oh, okay. So you're thinking you're that good, huh, Buck?
Okay.
Look.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. So it's the first correct answer we get in the email based on the timestamp of the email. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right.
Well, wait a minute, guys. Wait just a moment. Okay. We're simulcasting. Okay. So some of the simulcasts start before, sometimes just seconds before the other one. Okay. So if someone can find the answer in, let's say, 5 or 10 seconds,
Do
which
10
I don't think
seconds.
we're going to be able to do. Okay.
Maybe.
I would say that it would be better that for everybody that gets the right answer, okay,
Oh, okay.
that we randomize and we pick.
I like that. I like
That's
that.
fine.
You
I
like
like
that?
that.
We'll
I like
put
that
that.
makes it a
Yeah,
more
Makes it fair.
level
That makes
playing
it
field,
fair.
and We'll
So
give
we'll
you
accept-
guys until when? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow, the next
24
show.
24 hours. Tomorrow's show, I guess.
Tomorrow's show.
Or do you want to do it on the next, you want to do it on Thursday's show? Because you'll be on
Yeah,
again.
Thursday show. Yeah, we can. Give
Okay,
them 2
so
days.
so you have all the way from now until next Thursday to get in your answer, okay?
And then we'll draw it. Then we'll draw from the names.
Okay, all right, that's good. All right,
Okay, good. So those are the rules.
all right. I don't have a
All right.
drum roll, guys, sorry.
Are you ready? Somebody write this down so we'll remember it. What the question was. I think I'll remember it.
Hang on. Let me get this. All right.
All right.
Go ahead.
In approximately 1.2 million years from now, believe it or not, there's going to be
1.2 million years from now,
Science now.
give or take, what, 5 years?
a few thousand years.
A few thousand years, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, an approximate 1.2 million.
a few 10,000s of years. In
Yeah.
the future, now. Remember, it's in the future, it's not in the past.
In the future.
Because this happened in the past also, but this is a future event.
Mhm.
Okay,
Alright.
so believe it or not, in 1.2 million years from now, a star will pass well within 1 light year of the sun.
What?
Actually, underneath 0.2 light years.
Underneath
Underneath.
Less than 2 light
less than
years away.
0.2 light years.
Less than 0.2 light years from the sun.
Wow. 1.2 million years from now.
And this was
give or
just
take a few
just
thousand.
discovered recently in the last few years, I think, actually,
From the sun, correct?
from the sun. So which star is it?
So wait a minute, 0.2 light years. So does that comes within, what's the Oort cloud? What's the distance of the Oort cloud around the sun?
I'm not sure how far that extends out. We could find that out.
Is it even a light year? I don't know. I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. But this is a star that the Voyager could be running into in a million years.
Dang.
I'll be dead. So,
That'd be kind of interesting, wouldn't it?
mm-hmm. All right. I got the question saved, so I have it.
So restate the question, Tyler.
The question, an approximate 1.2 million years from now in the future. Make sure we're understanding of this.
Right.
What is in a star will pass by the sun in 0.2 light years? What's the name of that star? Basic what the question is.
Yeah, it will come that close to the sun.
Wow, wait a minute. Okay, so the Oort cloud, this is interesting. Okay. The Oort cloud is out there. It's between 2,000 and 100,000 astronomical units. Okay.
Okay.
0.2 light years. 0.2 light years is only 12,648 astronomical units. So this star is going to come within the Oort cloud. Okay.
Oh man.
So this could be nasty. Okay.
Will it
how many
explode?
comets do you think it will hurl in towards the sun?
Yeah, it could be disruptive like that.
Ugly.
Hmm.
Okay.
So I think that the answer to that question is worth $150.
So Jerry,
Heck yeah.
do you get extra credit for predicting what product Explore Scientific is going to start selling in honor of that event?
Yeah, we take suggestions for sure.
Yeah. That's right.
We'll have some special solar glasses for
Yeah, we'll have to have
two
a-
suns.
We'll have to have a special hidden thing. 1.2 million years from now, they'll have $1.2 million in it or something, you know. So there you go.
Which will be you'll be able to buy a loaf of bread with that.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Book Davies, be glad you're alive now and not a
I already got freaking answers.
million-ish years to come.
Oh, do you? I need to
Yeah.
send you the. I need.
I already
to send
got
you
answers.
I need to send you the correct answer.
Yeah.
Oh Lord,
I need to send you the correct answer to that.
mercy.
All right.
This is crazy. All right. I'm going to come in tomorrow. There's going to be 500 emails I'm going to have to go through.
Good. That's what it should be.
No, yeah. Great.
All
That's gonna
there's-
drive me
There's
nuts.
the answer. There's the answer.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not post it.
No, no.
Mike's just been disqualified because he saw the answer.
Oh yeah, Mike, you cannot participate in this amazing giveaway that we
Perfect.
have here. Sorry.
Perfect. Well,
It's the only reason why I had him on the show, so he could not participate. Just kidding.
perfect.
A great book.
Mike, I need to get your book. It's definitely on my shopping list to get now.
I've already arranged to get a book signed from him already. I just got to send him some cash.
Thank you, guys.
That's right. Send cash, folks. How much is the book, by the way, Mike? You remember?
The paperback is $14.95. The Kindle is $5.95 or $4.95.
The
It's a
bargain.
good deal. It is a heck of a bargain. Jerry, why is your books?
Well, if you buy the paperback, do you get the Kindle with it as well or not?
No,
Why are my books so expensive
okay.
and they keep
All
going
right.
up in price?
Yeah. That.
Because Springer wants to make money. That's why.
Oh, okay.
yeah, one of the reasons I self-published, one of the many reasons, one, it was going to get faster out to the market. The mainstream publishers can take 1 to 2 years to get a book in print. And then, as Jerry says, they want to make a lot of money on top of that. So when you go the self-publishing route, those print-on-demand places don't take a major cut. And so the price of my book is a lot less.
Right.
Yep.
Excellent.
Perfect.
I'm actually working with 2 authors. One of them is Terry Mann.
Oh, very nice.
She's proposed a book on the aurora.
And she's an amazing photographer of aurora too. So, and I think I definitely want to get a signed book from her. That would be great, you know.
Oh yeah.
But I have my coveted signed book from Mike Wiesner, and I really appreciate it. So it's great. And I love this picture. Can I show this? This
Oh,
is
yeah.
Mike. Is a young man
Oh,
looking
neat.
very, very dapper with
That's
his.
cool.
Is that your first telescope, Mike?
That was the first one.
Okay.
That picture was Easter Sunday morning, 1962.
Oh, man.
And I still have that telescope. That's the Edmund 3-inch Newtonian. In 2016, I was back in my hometown.
Yeah.
The guy who was living in the house, our old house, he said I could recreate that photograph. So I have a picture of me standing in front of that house, same location with that same telescope.
Oh, that's cool. That was very cool. How old are you there?
That would have been 14.
14. You look, Mike, you dress like that. I think you could walk in any bar in the country. I mean, and you look, yeah, you look, your face looks young, but you're certainly you look like you could have pulled it off. So
Mike
Well,
still
that
looks
was
like
going to Easter Sunday service. dress.
I see.
yeah. Mike still looks like a young man to me.
Y'all are old dinosaurs.
I
Everybody
have
looks
to
young.
say that because
That's right.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let's segue to talking about the OpenGOTO community a little bit, Jerry, and then we'll end up with Tyler to talk about the Astrophotography Contest. And
So
see
one
what we're
thing,
about.
I don't have a lot to say. I just want to, so if you all remember back a few months ago, we had a big giveaway when we reached 500 people on the forum.
Yeah.
The growth rate has been a little sporadic this year. It's interesting because what I've found, the behavior of people coming in and leaving is that they're balanced now. So the amount of people that are on there now is 607, what is it, 675 or something like that.
Mhm.
But it's kind of, reached its level because as many people come in, some people are leaving also. And I think I haven't done a survey on it, but I think people are leaving because they basically
You get a knowledge level.
they
or
got a
something.
knowledge level and they look at the forum as a help place, not necessarily as a place to hang out. And
Yeah.
those are the people that leave. I think they come in to get help, and then when they figure everything out, they don't need the help anymore and they leave. So I think that's what's going on. And the levels have balanced out pretty much until we start the next level of our sales, which hopefully will happen this next year or two, where we'll be able to increase our membership quite a bit going forward later on this year. I hope
Yeah,
that
I
happens.
think so. I think
We've
so.
been out of stock for so long. It's hard, even growing the membership with that when you're out of stock for so long, pretty amazing.
Right. Very true. Very true. Well, too many people bought too quick. So that was the problem.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's okay.
Did Tyler leave again? He was going to talk about that. I thought he thought I was going to talk for like 10 minutes or something. I can read a story. I've got a story up that I can read real quick.
All right.
That's one thing that I haven't done in a while. Let me see if I can find it.
What about the UAPs, Jerry?
We've got, okay, I can talk about that in just a minute. So we might have a special guest coming on here soon to talk some more. He's got really into that, and he's an expert in certain areas in that field. That's all I'm going to say.
That's all you're going to say about that.
That's right.
Right.
I haven't talked to him directly about coming on the show, although I think maybe I mentioned to him in email that I may be interested in trying to get him on. But we'll be able to find out some truth to the matter. And well, the other thing he'll be able to tell us is what
and he was with the Air Force, right? This guy.
He was an Air Force intelligence officer, like Jesse Marcel back in Area 50 when the Area 51 stuff or the first Roswell incident was going on. He was an intelligence officer. So this guy is the same thing. He was an intelligence officer in the Air Force. So that'll be cool to talk to him.
Richard Grace wants to know: is it the guy with the hair?
The guy with the hair.
I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know.
yeah, he's.
Are we talking about Einstein or what?
Yeah, right.
Oh, he
No.
said, Harold Locke says, better not be from the ancient alien crew. Those guys
Oh.
are comedians.
Those were the first books I read when I was a teenager. Ancient Astronauts. Eric von
Richard Gray
Daniken.
says, Giorgio A. Tsoukalos. Is that right? Tsoukalos.
Mm. It's not him.
Not him. That's right.
Mm-mm.
Well, so
we'll be able to pursue that subject a little bit more
Okay.
scientifically. Let me put it that way.
Ooh, science words.
So let me get to the story real quick. It won't take about a minute.
Aaron Thompson says, once we've established contact with aliens, one of the things I'm really curious about is their record of our history. Yeah, I don't know. What kind of report card do we get,
That's
as
right.
a so-called intelligent species?
So you see this, some of the things they've been discovering on Mars is recent explosive volcanism on Mars, which is kind of cool because, these worlds seem kind of dead, right? The moon especially is a dead world. It
Yeah.
has no molten core. The Mars may have once had a molten core, but it's probably solid as a rock, as an iron rock, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's still stuff going on, so maybe it's not quite as as solid as we think. Maybe there is some molten regions.
Is that a monochrome image or is that an IR image?
No, that's a monochrome image. So the search for life on Mars continues, but rather than hunting for modern life, Perseverance, NASA's latest Mars rover, will soon begin looking for signs of ancient life, having once existed on the now dry, barren world. And though most researchers agree the surface of Mars is no longer hospitable, some suspect life could stand a fighting chance underground. A new paper adds weight to that theory. The study, led by research scientist David Horvath of the Planetary Science Institute, reevaluates how long ago the red planet's volcanoes were active. It's currently believed that most eruptions occurred between 3 and 4 billion years ago. There's also evidence suggesting Mars's youngest volcanoes were active about 3 million years ago. But now there's new data from satellites orbiting Mars that indicate volcanoes continued to rage on Mars until the much more recent past, a mere 50,000 years ago, which happens to be the same age as the youngest crater on the Earth, which is the Meteor Crater in Arizona. That's just a coincidence.
So do you think like a giant burp out of Mars, might have hurtled an asteroid,
rock.
a Martian asteroid that is really the Barringer crater?
That could be your theory.
That's not mine. I was just trying to put the pieces together.
But I think this is kind of interesting. That this again shows that there's more changes going on.
Look at that gash. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah. There's more changes going on in the universe than we suspect even.
Oh, that's true.
In the early days of our school career, Scott, remember we were taught about the fixed stars.
Yeah.
And we know they're not fixed at all. And we know there's all kinds of stuff going on with them.
Right.
So this is just another indication that there's really more going on in the universe than what we expected.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. We only have just recently explored the tip of the iceberg, I guess. So that's right. Mm-hmm. So Tyler popped in. He popped out again. Tyler, are you with us?
Pop-Tart.
Hold on for a second.
I don't know if you heard me.
Where's he going?
Oh, he's back. Tyler's back.
I knew he was coming. I know what he's wanting to do. He's wanting to talk about the Astrophotography Contest. I know exactly what he's doing.
Right.
I can read his mind. I had to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry. Mother Nature.
That on television, Tyler?
I'm not wearing a diaper. I'm not wearing a diaper. I'm sorry. I'll bring it for the next show.
Scott doesn't force you to do that.
Not on TV.
Not yet. He's recommended it, but I haven't.
Stay in that cube for 8 hours.
So, in case anybody's not aware of what's going on, we're having an astrophotography contest and the Explorer Alliance membership. But anybody can participate throughout the world. But the main category is it's cell phone related or smartphone related. So no matter what telescope, mount, whatever, if you're able to take a picture with a smartphone, we want it. We want to see what you can do as far as a astrophotography contest standpoint. Rules are pretty simple. You just have to be an Explorer Alliance member. And tomorrow we're going to get Annie on the show, and she's a hoot. I'm telling you, she's going to go over. We're letting her take over the Explorer Alliance membership. She'll be the main contact person, but we can talk about that tomorrow. There'll be first, second, and third place prizes ranging from $25 to $75 of an Explorer Alliance gift card. They'll all be printed on the top three will be printed on 18 by 24 mounted prints. Can't talk. Right now we have almost 50 entries. The contest is all the way through June 15th. So everybody needs you out there with a smartphone. Mike, I know you do it because trust me, there are some entries by you and they're phenomenal. To be able to sit there and take a smartphone picture and get that much detail is crazy to me. I mean, that tells me that 20 years from now, smartphones are going to be ridiculous. They're going to be almost dedicated astronomy cameras that can't cool yet, but it's nuts what they can do.
Embedded in your eyeball. You'll have a smartphone camera in your eyeball. You'll look through the eyepiece and take a picture.
Just automatic zoom. Just tell it to zoom. You're going to zoom in.
That's right.
But that's it for me. I got a baseball game I got to coach, so I got to get.
All right. Well, we hope you have a ball. Huh? Okay.
Funny. He's got jokes.
That's right. Better writers for this show. So
nah, I like the material. The material's better. Seinfeld's ain't got nothing on this.
Yeah. So anyhow, we do tonight. And by the way, good luck to all you guys that are trying to answer that question for our $150 gift certificate. We do have our 47th Global Star Party happening tonight, and that will start at 8 p.m. And we've got a nice lineup for you. Jerry Hubbell will be on. Molly Wakeling will be on. Of course, David Levy's going to be there. Cesar Barolo will be there. I'm trying to go from memory of all the people that will be on tonight.
Yep.
Maxi Filarius, the guy that took the lenses out of his smartphone to do cell phone astrophotography, he is going to try to make it. Simon Tang out on the West Coast is planning to be there, and couple of others. So I think it'll be a great show. Okay, so we run that show from like 8 p.m. to like I'm thinking 10:30-ish or 11 maybe. Then Scott goes home, okay, takes a quick shower, sleeps for like 15 minutes or whatever, and then I come back to work, okay, and we're going to open up the Zoom room again, and we're going to attempt to do live streams with guys like Christopher Go. That's the other guy I forgot to mention. Christopher Go from the Philippines is supposed to be part of this. We've got Molly is going to try to capture live images of the total lunar eclipse. This is a supermoon event, the only lunar eclipse for 2021. And, we're clouded out here in Arkansas, but, I'm hoping to see this from different parts of the world. Cesar Brolo is going to try to image it as well. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for a lot of us because it may be a low horizon type of event. So we'll see how it goes. But, the moon in totality, and during a lunar eclipse is beautiful. It can get different hues of like oranges all the way down to like deep red. So it's beautiful. I can't say, I don't in particular remember specific events where we were seeing total lunar eclipses during a supermoon, but this is going to be cool, and hope that you are able to wake up and see it live. Otherwise, you can watch it in rerun on our program. But there will this Global Star Party will be a
Two-parter.
part event. Yes. And
Same
so-
number, two-part.
What's that?
Same number, two parts.
Same bat channel, but not same bat time. That's right. A different bat time. Anyways, thanks for watching, you guys. We're going to get ready for Global Star Party. And Mike, thank you very much for coming onto our program, and congratulations on your new book.
Yeah, thanks,
And
Mike.
we hope you sell 1
Congratulations.
million copies. Jerry, congratulations on 150 episodes. It's awesome.
Yeah, you too. You've done how many other? You've done probably 500 episodes of shows all through the last year, I imagine.
I don't know. It's been fun. It's been great, though. I think it's been very gratifying to spend that time with the audience, and who are many of them are our customers, and but just to spend that time with the the community at large has been wonderful. So, and we're going to keep it up. So thanks, and we will see you guys in a few hours.
Bye all.
Bye-bye.